Let's wait for that to catch up to everything. Let's see how that goes. All right. Exit hosted mode. No longer hosting for now. All right. So, H-Bomb and, well, I guess Sean and Jen. And H-Bomb are doing a 24-hour stream right now, so I was hosting that because I've never actually engaged with the Twitch hosting features, which I feel like I should engage with that more, especially since now, you know, so many of not just my peers, but like my friends and mutuals and so on all have Twitch streams, and we should maybe reinforce each other in that way. It's a great plan. So here we are, week 6, and I just realized I just at this second noticed that I don't have the timer set up. So let me set up the timer real quick. I am a few minutes earlier than I said it was going to be, and I'm also a day later than the normal schedule. A cold front rolled into town, a very, very big, brutal, intense pressure change, and it means that it gave me a migraine yesterday. So yesterday was awful. I was in a foul mood like all day, just super short temper, super short everything, just no patience or energy, and it culminated in a very intense headache that lasted most of the evening. And why is this not seeing? I suspect something is going on the other end. Let me just check the other end of this cable. There we go. There we go. There we go. No, I didn't tell people to post cats, but I mean, go ahead and post cats. I'm not going to tell you to not post cats. But yeah, so migraine yesterday. Did not exactly sleep well last night either. So. Yeah. World record is updated. Stuff is updated. Yeah, I need to. Okay, let's see. View all. Runs awaiting verification. Wait, there are no runs awaiting verification? Oh, come on, show me run. Awaiting verification. There we go. And guess verify. And oh, how do I get back? There we go. There's the page. There's the page I'm trying to be on. Not that any of you can see the thing that I'm doing. I haven't updated my time on speedrun.com. I need to do that. So it's still got the 57 minutes, which is actually a few weeks old. Now at this point, I need to update it to the sub 50 minute one, 49:12, and who knows, even faster tonight. We'll find out. We'll see. And yeah, no real evolutions in the last week. I don't think my brain's pretty foggy. If there have been any changes, I might have missed them, but new world record is 45:27. The numbers are right there in front of me. Why can I not get this out? And Vexel's saying that does have a death on the chapter 4 skip, so that is an intense time. So Vexel's getting close to getting under 45. Impressive, very, very impressive. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do this evening is I'm just gonna back to back it. So I'll do two, and whichever is faster. Oh, right. Ship Toaster, the orange card skip, which doesn't feel super new because I don't know, because the last week has taken a year for just a variety of completely stream unrelated reasons. So yes, that is new, and that's going to be shown off. And I think this is the first time I've done the whole thing. I did part of it. Last week, but then we've improved it since then. So yes. So we'll just go. I suddenly can't. Oh, let's try. All right. All right, I'm off by like a second. I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna stop. We're gonna restart. Gonna do it properly. It was an eventful year this week. I feel like I had a bunch of other stuff that. Well, no. So I'm off by I'm gonna restart because I already stopped my stopwatch. No, I feel like the start and stop time. Like I don't want to shave seconds by just being sloppy with the stopwatch. Like that is the worst way to shave seconds. So exit. Especially since that one entirely comes down to I couldn't remember if it pops up with a. I'm sitting here it's like, does it give me a confirmation notice? I don't remember. I do not remember. So I was like, all right, well we'll just push it and find out. And it's like, all right, so we'll go 3, 2, 1, go. Doobadoo, 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 a doo doo, A doo-doo. Ooh, Aura Hack is streaming for Extra Life. Cool. Cool beans. So this is Amy, released in 2012. It's not good. It's a bad game. It's a terrible game. We're going to start off the run with about a minute and a half of just loading screen. Oh man, please do this run in character as D-stacks. I don't know. Oh, that would be hard. Okay. Cause I can't. So one of the things with the D-stacks character that makes it challenging as a character is that I can't think in the D-stacks voice. It's so far from kind of how I normally think and structure thoughts and phrases that I can't just slip into that place. It would take a pretty decent amount of practice in order to get there. I could probably do World's Friendliest Gamer without too much trouble, just because World's Friendliest Gamer, it speaks a lot slower. Oh man, we're getting just all the Steves. Oh jeez, how many Steves spawned? So this run is not starting off ideal. We've got a bunch of bonus Steves. And then we're going to come here and meet Marcello. Don't dodge Steve. Oh, no. That. Oh, this is bad. Oh, I hate you. I hate you, Steve. I hate you so much. Alright, well, we lost a few seconds there. I should have, especially since I think I hit that guy once on the way past, or did I just bump into him? Anyway, he's dead now. So, we got some bonus Steves. Now we got Marcello following us, and he's gonna exposit a whole bunch. The backstory that we missed by skipping the cutscene is that, so Lana is our protagonist here, and she is busy kidnapping Amy from the evil institute that had kidnapped her in the first place, and as they were riding the train, something exploded, and then more stuff exploded, and then Lana woke up here in the train station. Now we found Marcello, and he's going to give us this device, a DNA cracker. So we're going to sync it to this DNA lock, and now we need to go find DNA to open the lock, and a number of pips have shown up on our minimap. Now fortunately for us, this is the same every time, so we don't need to worry about anything random. We can just run straight to the correct answer, and it is back here on the train. There's our DNA. Some great sci-fi circles there, ovals, oval beams, and train conductor. Oh no, he's a zombie. He's kind of tough to fight, and we're just not going to fight him. We're just going to push past him. And oh, we get spooked by a painting on the wall of this train falling off the wall. So we're going to zip back, and it looks like we actually, yeah, Marcello, we don't need to wait for him at all for anything ever, but we're going to come into the room here, and now we've got the first mastermind puzzle of the game.
But let's just say that
We're actually entering commands before
anyway, this thing it can get you through all these fancy new DNA locks. You just
goes
needs to
through.
find a sample of DNA of the person it's authorized to let in.
That's not good. That's obnoxious. Alright.
Fantastic! The juice is down. Now we'll be able to get through the grill.
Oh, that second swing didn't go through. There we go. So far, every Steve that can spawn has spawned. So we're losing some time on this run to bonus Steves. Oh, the audio, right. That's right. Sorry, I'm going to turn that down the next time we get to a proper loading zone. The audio was turned up because we were playing the Order 1887 on the on Monday, which is it is a very quiet game. The audio balance in it is quite quiet. So I will turn that down once we get to the door, the airlock door, because that's a mandatory wait.
From all these monsters?
So Lana is not Amy's sister. Lana
She can't speak. She's not well.
By the story, worked at the Institute in some fashion or another.
You did it! Bravo, Amy!
There's a whole bunch of them. Come on, you just follow me.
And let's take that way down. There we go. Audio should be better. Should be better now. She worked at the Institute in some fashion, and has kidnapped Amy from there. All right.
It's time to have some fun, Amy. Let's see if you can solve this riddle.
No, this little scratch, don't let it scare you.
And some great just random frame rate drops. The game is incredibly poorly optimized. It plays terribly, even though it is not large. It is not a very big game. It is visually not a very taxing game. It is just a very poorly optimized game, and so it runs like crap, even though it shouldn't. So there's not a PS4 version. Man, really that is literally every bonus Steve to this point. I was really hoping that with all of the other ones that had already spawned, that guy in particular wouldn't spawn. All right, we got a couple jump scares coming out of the walls. So this is probably not going to be the world record run by any means, with all of these extra dings to our time. There's very few random elements in the game. Mainly, so the main random element is actually the mastermind puzzles. There's a few of them that you need to solve, and the answer to them is always random. So you just need to solve it like a puzzle, like you're supposed to, every time. The other thing that's random is these bonus zombies, these bonus Steves. That they may or may not spawn. So a bunch of the ones that we have fought so far aren't mandatory. Like they're not always there. So we have so far encountered every bonus zombie that we can. So in this room, we can book it through, but if we do, we run the risk of Marcello's AI breaking. And if that happens, then he just kind of runs around in circles. So we're gonna just zip through, and we're gonna hope we don't lose Amy on any of the terrain. We're gonna hope that we don't lose her to any frame rate drops. That is probably the most frustrating way to lose your grip on Amy, is that you can turn a corner, and so much loading goes on that the game just decides to let go of your grip on Amy. So the devs were considerate enough. They realized that their game is enough of a pain in the ass that they built in one of the best skips that I think I have ever seen in a game, which is that you can just short circuit. You can just shortcut the ladder climbing animation, and you're just by pressing start while you're climbing a ladder, and you don't need to go through the actual animation. And then we're gonna come around the corner and we're gonna try. We got to a decent spot. Poor form on button presses. Yeah, just real sloppy there. I thought what was going on there is I thought my contextual input had switched from the button to the ladder, but it was still the ladder. It was still the ladder. All right, so we're at about 12 minutes for the first chapter, which is it's okay. It's okay. It's about a minute slower than I would like it to be. And we got to get ready on that start button because there's a couple cutscenes we got to skip. So yeah, 11:33. That's actually only about 30. Okay, so on the actual split, according to Vexel, are about 30-ish seconds slower than I would like to be. Which is actually not, because I think I usually come in around 11 minutes, or I'd like to aim for, like, 11 minutes is the number that kind of sticks out in my head. Oh, Bill, please open the door. Bill ain't here, man. Sorry.
Found you. Listen, everything's gonna be okay. I promise.
Oh, hey, there's a fun one. So the ogre's head just vanished in that cutscene right there. So what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to go hide in the locker and wait for the monster to pass. We can just, however, run past it. We do need to be a little bit careful coming back around this corner here, just to make sure that it is far enough away. And there we go. All right, so this is our first of the second type of zombies. So we got our Steves and we got our Jared Letos. So those are Jared's. We got Steves and Jared's. So we've put Amy into the second Amy hole of the game, and now we're gonna have her. Oh, come on, pick. Nope. That went poorly.
That's a good girl. Bravo.
I don't know. I don't actually know what she was trying to do there. Okay, Make sure we've got a grip on Amy, that we don't lose her on any of the crates. And then we want to run right through to this door and get through the door. And there we go. All right, now we're going to just skip back to the checkpoint. So there's a curiosity in the game where checkpoints load faster than waiting for the level to actually load normally, as you can see when we come here, and objects that we're going to be interacting with have not actually even loaded into the game. So we're just going to push this guy, we're going to hit that checkpoint, and then we're going to reload checkpoint again, so that we are at the checkpoint, which is going to advance the game state. So there's a whole bunch of things. There's a little mini puzzle that you're supposed to solve in order to get that soldier out of the room before you can get to that DNA scanner. So if you have the checkpoint at the DNA scanner, the game assumes that you have done that puzzle, and it advances the guard's position to where the guard would be, assuming that you had done the puzzle. Now, back there at that last corner, those red lasers are a motion detecting mine. So you are supposed to get through them by walking very slowly, something that the game actually never tells you. That intersection is actually, from a game design perspective, a complete nightmare, and should be studied by students of game design the world over for everything that goes wrong with that particular intersection. All right, so there's two Jared Letos that can spawn in this room, and it looks like we got one of them. That's not too bad, aside from the fact that the frame rate is just absolutely tanking because of all of this fire here. But we've got our DNA. Come on. And now we just run back to the lock. Sometimes you can actually get lucky with those by so if you it's kind of funny how those end up working, is that if you zip through them super fast, you only get shocked once. If you walk through them at a normal rate, if you try to just walk through them at Lana's normal rate, then it doesn't, it will shock you and bounce you out, and so you can't actually walk into them. So you're supposed to crawl through them at a super slow pace. So now here's the new sort of big skip that I haven't shown off yet. Is we're gonna push that guy to actually delay. We're gonna delay that Jared just a little bit. And then, so we have just run right past, and then we're going to reload checkpoint right there. So now we have bypassed another entire mini puzzle. There's a room that we need to go in to get an orange key card that we need in order to open a door, and we just didn't. We didn't do it at all. So we have skipped the orange key card in its entirety, and then we reloaded in order to have the orange key card, because again the game assumes that if we're at a certain point, so that door right there that we just went through, we need the orange key card in order to get through it. And now I'm gonna stab myself in the neck with super serum, just to kind of act as a health bulwark as we run through all of that poison. And No. Nope. And end a chapter.
Ellen's cut off.
All right. So chapter 3, this chapter probably frustrates me the most. This is one that we still more or less need to do. It's like chapter 1 in that you just kind of have to do it. There's a few things that we've worked into it to speed it up. But this is also our first, as far as the speedrun is concerned, introduction to Amy's magical powers. We were supposed to encounter those last level, but we didn't, because even on a casual playthrough, it's not very obvious that you're supposed to use them at all. In fact, this goes to that intersection I was talking about, the one that is kind of a nightmare, is that you encounter those red laser mines shortly after also encountering one of the first Amy power glyphs in the game.
That's good. Now wait here. I won't be long.
So on a casual run, it very much looks like the solution to the laser mine is to use the power in some way. And so that power, which we have actually routed out of the game entirely, creates a silence bubble. You will not see it in this run. We do not use it. We have managed to route around it in every way, shape, and form. But so putting those two elements close together suggests that they do in fact go together, but they don't at all. And in fact, with where that particular silencing glyph is located, there isn't actually anything in that space that you're really supposed to use it on. There's a couple optional moments, but that's really about it.
Right, Ellen. I'll ask the next zombie where he was
So
born.
this one laser field right here, that one, just that one at that corner, actually functions the way that it's supposed to. I don't know what's different about it in coding, but it actually works in that Lana will trigger it kind of every step that she takes. So you can run and get most of the way through it if you hit it at just the right angle. Every now and then you can clip all the way through it, but otherwise, generally speaking, you've got to you end up needing to. You will probably have to walk part way through it. And then since we're stuck on the elevator, it's a good time to stick a needle in our neck and heal ourselves. Also, I need to make sure I grab the stick, because I didn't grab it yet. So a whole bunch of Jared Letos are waiting for us. And now in a casual play, this moment is somewhat hilarious because we get this little tutorial here introducing us to the superpower glyphs that if Amy is standing on them, her powers are supercharged and she has unlimited charges. The funny thing about it is that she does not actually do any damage with it. Like it does not do damage at all. So where you would think that the purpose of that is a bit of a shooting gallery, you know, a bit of a duck shoot. It's not, because her force push does no damage, and I was getting ready to do this the old way, and I needed to remember the new way. All right, so we're actually going to head back to the beginning, and we're just going to jump off. We're just going to jump off that ledge there, and we're going to go all the way back to this glyph now, and we're going to recharge Amy's powers, so that we have 2 charges when we get into the next room, and that is going to enable us to bypass one of the more obnoxious puzzles in the game. So it takes quite a bit of time to back up to here, but the net time saving is pretty good, given that it skips a somewhat notorious puzzle. All right. Now, also on the way there, we were able to shut off the laser mines, which means it means that the Jared Letos can run at full speed, but it also means that we can just zip right back through here. So it saves us a little bit of effort on the return trip as well. And now we need to grab Amy's hand super fast there in order to prevent her from falling off of that platform. It's an obnoxious little glitch that can happen. Now, once we get through this door, we're at a checkpoint. We need to make sure that Amy's powers have not disappeared. There's a bug that will happen. It's that transition specifically where it'll happen. So we're going to tell Amy to stand where she is. We're going to leave her there. We're going to hit this button, and then while we're waiting for that elevator to come, because we have 2 charges now, we can use it to knock out these 2 board barriers up here. Which means that we can bypass this entire puzzle on the other side of the room. That elevator that we kind of left Amy standing on top of, that catwalk over there, the ladder that is next to it, basically all of that stuff is a puzzle to knock out those 2 boards. And so by recharging at that side of the room, we don't need to do any of that. Lovely painting here down in this, wherever this is. Just an art hanging on a wall. All right, and okay. Oh. And there we go. We're good with Amy's powers.
That's a brave girl. You can do it.
I didn't actually really mean to hit that, but it should work out okay. Oh yeah, timing's fine. It all worked out. All worked out just fine. Just fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, how unfinished would we say this game is? It's a 7. It's got to be a 7 or 8 unfinished. Like there's really only about 20% of a game here. Okay. We do have Amy in the correct hand, so if we can properly navigate her around these obstacles, we should be good. We're good. We're good. We're good to go. We're at 31, 58, 59, 32, so we're at 30, 33, 34 minutes. Not even quite 30, probably a little bit. All right, so you're supposed to sneak through, sneak around these crates and sneak around this soldier, or you can just grind Lana's face against the side of the train car and drag Amy to the end of level trigger and win. Good night, morning. Good night, morning. Good night, morning. Good night, morning songs. It's fun to say night, morning. Night, morning. Good night. Yes, it is worth pointing out that that is sort of an intentional 20% complete, that the developers hit a point where they figured it was better to take the 20% of a game that they had and try to ship it, and nope, didn't work. I'm gonna just manually do it. All right. So Chapter 4 has become somewhat notorious among the three of us who run the game. No. I'm not gonna downplay it. Chapter 4 has become notorious among the Amy speedrunning community because of its high variability. There are some high stakes skips available in Chapter 4, but failure to do them properly leads to substantial time losses. All right. Here's one that I'm particularly bad at, and oh man, I did not die to that Steve this week. I'm gonna that is a personal mini victory, actually, that I didn't die to that Steve. Oh, got spooked by an art. All right. Stab ourselves in the neck. Give it a second. And then run. And checkpoint. Come on, Amy, grab my hand. Come on, Amy, grab my hand. All right, 50. So 3640. 3640 is, in theory, the time that we are waiting for. 3640. 3640. All right, so Jean Jacket Steve comes running at us, so we whack him with our crowbar. And oh, another Jean Jacket Steve coming at us, so we're gonna whack him with our crowbar. And then another Jean Jacket Steve is gonna spawn, and he's gonna look really angry, but we've got a train to catch. And all right, it's actually 5 seconds later, so that should have been 45. 45. No. Okay, so Byzantine asks, I have an honest question because I missed this. Did you first play the game just because it's called Amy and your cat is named Amy? No. So this was originally streamed. This was originally streamed as a Halloween game because it is a spooky game. It's nice and spooky. And so we decided to stream it for Halloween just because the times, the days all lined up pretty well. So that is where it originally came from. And then out of a sense of resentment and the fact that I have been looking to for sort of an entry point into speedrunning for a while now, I decided on a whim. It really was actually the whim really was revenge. In casual play, this game is awful beyond reason, and it was immensely frustrating to actually try to play properly, and we did not actually we didn't end up finishing it in that stream. And so on the Saturday after I attempted to stream it, I went in on my own time and finished it off, and I was, by the time I was done, in particular the ending of the game, the conclusion of it, the final boss, the final encounter, the final everything was so hilariously bad and poor and just terribly done that in an act of revenge, I then immediately fired the game up again. I started a new game on easy just to see if, knowing the solutions to the puzzle, I could get through it in, like, how quickly I could get through it. And so my original playthrough time was close to 8 hours. It was a little over 7. It was between 7 and 8. I don't have an exact time on it. And then just on my own, I tried. I just ran through it, kind of by and large, as intended. But knowing the answers and heading straight for solutions and stuff like that. And it only took about an hour 45 to do it that time. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's doable. And if I can get an hour 45 on my second playthrough, just kind of chumping around I'm certain we can cut off a decent amount of time. And we have in the time since now cut off an entire hour. And we're going to hit that checkpoint and then reset that checkpoint. So what we just did there is we actually bypassed almost an entire level. So that's a puzzle level where you're supposed to go through using Amy's powers to avoid those zombies. All of those zombies that I walked past, if they spot you, it's actually an instant fail. They don't attack you, you don't die, you just lose. So rather than doing literally any of it, we instead just walk to the next checkpoint and get Amy. Reset, and we don't need to escort her through the hell puzzle at all. It's great. So that was a little reset there, another checkpoint reset, just to avoid needing to hide from the guard, and wait for that entire thing to resolve. That load is now a lot of the loads are actually still fairly lengthy. Most of them save a lot of time. That one, then there's a bunch of smaller places where you can reload, but the gains are debatable just because of the way that how long it often takes to load. That one is actually really quick for whatever reason, and so despite the fact that you're cutting off a fairly small amount of time, it's still substantially worth it, 10 seconds or so. Now we're into mandatory sewer level. And we've got lots of little terrain here for Amy to get air off of. This was also actually a moment. This level here was actually part of what inspired me to consider the speed run. Is I got so frustrated trying to complete the game, actually even while we were playing it, that I wound up pulling up a just a walkthrough to get through it. We were using the walkthrough on stream, and it still took forever, in part because the walkthrough was not well written at all, was quite confusing, and was referencing things that didn't seem to actually exist in our copy of the game. But we got to this area, and this area in particular describes a zombie gauntlet and a puzzle that you're supposed to do, and it turns out that the entirety of that puzzle is negated simply by closing that gate after you go through it, because the zombies still largely spawn where they're supposed to, but because they can't path to where you are at after they spawn, they end up just standing where they are. So they're all standing in another room doing nothing right now. Yes, as player number 3 is pointing out, a substantial chunk, an entire chapter in the awful walkthrough was written in a mockery of African American vernacular English. It was deeply uncomfortable. Deeply uncomfortable. Also really difficult to actually understand what they meant, because they were trying to write things comically. So Amy, I might at some point write an actual an actual proper casual play strategy guide for this and to submit it to GameFAQs just purely so that there is one out there that is legible and not offensive. So we're into chapter 6 now. Oh, come on. Now, that right there, as much of a loss as that looked like, as much as a micro loss as that looked like, that wasn't actually an actual loss. That was just something frustrating on my part. We're on a kind of global timer at the moment. There's an event that happens, and we're just waiting for it. We just need to. There's a bunch of tasks that we need to complete before it happens, and there we have now completed all of them. I've also discovered that this is a level where you can in fact go just a bit too fast. If you go just a bit too fast, you end up losing some time. So here is Willem Dafoe, the terrifying Willem Dafoe, and we need to set these traps for him and lure him into those electrical traps that we build using a defibrillator. Oh, and part of the problem with actually going too fast is that what can end up happening often is we'll end up trapping ourselves in a doorway with him. Which can lead to getting hit a couple times. But it looks like we did. Oh no, we haven't got jammed in a doorway yet, so that's good. That's good. All right, and time. So yeah, that's the game. Willem Dafoe there is the final boss, and you defeat him by just luring him into an electrical trap 3 times and hitting him in the head with a crowbar, with a pry bar, and there you go. So all told, yeah, that was still a fairly decent improvement, even with a couple of the losses in chapter 1. Like chapter 1, there was actually the only part that actually went poorly at all. And now there's 2 things here that I need to update. So I need to change this. This is actually now 45:27, and mine is now, where are we at? Week 6, 0, 47, 47. So I like that. That was a good run considering how kind of uneven it was. But yeah. So I'm gonna take just a bit of a break here to check on some stuff, and also tweet out that we're gonna start the second run of the night, and also just to give my hands a bit of a chance to relax. The game unfortunately requires some rather obnoxious inputs in order to So you hold R1 in order to hold Amy's hand, and you need to hold down L1 in order to jog, and then you need to pump square in order to run. So you end up spending a lot of the game, particularly in the speed run, you're spending a lot of the game gripping, R1 and L1 at the same time, and rapidly tapping X. And then even when you're not, like, because you are, generally speaking, going to be jogging most of the time. And yeah. How anxious do you get doing these? I don't get very anxious doing these. I think this in particular, I think I was a lot more anxious on week 1, because even though like it was a form of streaming that I'd never done before, but I think a lot of maybe the anxiety that I might have had with a project like this has been ablated by the fact that Amy is that no one else, like literally 0 people were speedrunning it at the time. So it was completely unrouted. It was completely untouched. Like, so there wasn't really sort of a performance bar to compare to in any way, shape, or form. I think if it was something that was a bit more, I don't want to say competitive, but a bit more, really, I guess the middle ground would be where I think the most anxiety might come in for me, where it looks like I might be reasonably competitive. I mean, because right now it's basically you and I. We're the only submitted times, and you've got a 2-minute lead on me, and I'm fine with that. If it had been something that has been like super thoroughly routed, like if it were Super Metroid, I would probably also be like, fine with it as well, because there's so many people running it that, and the world record times are so kind of out there that there really isn't any pressure. Like you can get into it and be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna get anywhere near their times. Like you can just accept it and move on. It's like, I'm not gonna get anywhere near their times. Let's just deal with it. That's ages away. I guess it's probably that stuff in sort of the middle. Or if it were a game that were good, or a game that I actually cared about, where it would be like, oh man, I have something to prove. I've got ego on the line. Just because of all of that, it's like, all right, whatever. I can live with it. A dank custom emote. Oh, I don't have it keyframed. Dank. Oh wait, what is it doing way up there? Transform. There we go. Dank. Geliterate, yes. I spent some time earlier today working on the graphic for it. We are going to be doing a Night of Determination again on Christmas Eve this year. On Christmas Day, which is a Monday, I'm still not decided. I'm waffling between sort of two plans. One is to just move the actual regular stream to Tuesday. The other idea that I've got in my head is so I have family obligations that evening. I've got a dinner to go to, but I'm thinking I am toying with the idea of doing a like greatest hits from sort of the last, like basically a highlight reel from the last year, and so that would be about a couple hours long, and then letting that run, and then I can just I can participate in chat while I'm at things, but I would not be vocally participating. And I have looked it up, and it turns out that is something that Twitch is okay with. Is this like, yeah, you can run pre-recorded stuff. You just need to at least be in the text chat, actually like participating with people and not just letting it run. And yeah. So, add another tweet. Add another, wait. I'm trying to think of what else I have to say. I feel like there was something in the back of my mind kind of all day long that I was like, I should talk about that this evening. Yeah, I don't remember. Shipping to Canada is too expensive, so I can't get you Monsters Inc. That is all right. Don't worry about it. I don't want anyone to break the bank on anything. And yes, shipping can get obnoxious up to Canada at times. So let's reset that time. Let's do we want to change the stopwatch up? No. We'll do it as numbers. You know what? Field video questions. Field video questions now. My hands need a couple seconds, and I'm going to go get a glass of water, specifically water. I'm tempted to get another soda, but it is almost 9 o'clock, and I shouldn't have another soda. So I'm gonna go get a glass of water, and yeah, if anyone's got any like video related questions, fire those out, and I'll answer those for a few minutes before we start the second run. Amy Cat is sitting all prim and proper on a chair on the far side of the room in a dark corner, but she can see me and is making eye contact and is just watching me from the other side of the room. Markov bot on the chat logs have it post every couple of minutes. Let's see. Reading through the backlog. Which streamer are you most likely to visit? Can we just send stuff to them for you to pick up later? Oh, geez. I don't know. The people that I most often visit don't stream, and the streamers that I the problem is that they all live in, like, the actual answer to that is people who all live in England. So that's not super helpful. Yeah. 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 What film are you most looking forward to reviewing / possibly writing critique about in 2018? You know what? Off the top of my head, I actually can't think of very many movies that are even coming out in 2018. Like, I'm sure if I looked down a list, I'd be like, oh, right, that's coming out. Oh, right, and that's coming out. But I don't know, maybe this is a failure of marketing, or maybe this is just the current marketing reality, but the only two movies off the top of my head that I even know about that are coming out in 2018, like that I can recall to immediate memory, are Black Panther and Infinity War. And I'm not really planning... I mean, I'll probably vlog them, just because, why not? But yeah, I mean, I don't really, I don't know. Yeah, Crystal is kind of the, we would need to, Amy Cat has been activated. Oh, Jurassic World 2, right. Oh, crap. Jurassic World 2. Crap. Ready Player 1 comes out in like 2 weeks. Doesn't it? Isn't it Christmas? Or isn't it like... Where? No, I don't want that search. I want... Ready Player 1, film, release date. Oh, wait, what? March? What? March? What? Doesn't come out till March? You mean I need to put up with... Oh, no. Oh, why did I... Maybe... Oh, no. March. That's way too much build-up. That's way too much more build-up. I don't know if I can... Oh, no. Oh, no. A Wrinkle in Time. There we go. There's a movie I'm legitimately excited for. Now that I'm remembering, A Wrinkle in Time comes out next year, and that's looking fantastic. Yeah. I'm just gonna let's just movies coming out in 2018. There's gotta be a list. All right, Infinity War, Jurassic World 2. Solo, A Star Wars Story, 50 Shades Freed, right? Ready Player 1, Black Panther, Wrinkle in Time, Incredibles 2, Maze Runner, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Pacific Rim 2, Annihilation, New Mutants, Venom, Aquaman, Predator, Deadpool 2, Fantastic Beasts, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider looks like it might be okay. Wreck-It Ralph 2, The Meg, Ocean's 8. Ocean's 8 looks like it might be decent. Mission Impossible 6, X-Men Dark Phoenix. Is that seriously actually still slated? I doubt it. That one's not coming out. That one's going to get canceled. Insidious garbage. Isle of Dogs, Commuter, Mary Poppins Returns. Sherlock Gnomes. Rampage. God, why are all of the movies announced either like just franchise fare or god awful? Hotel Transylvania, Peter Rabbit, The Nun, Early Man. Yeah, okay, so another Grinch movie. Actually, it looks like it might be better than the previous one. Um, uh, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so yeah. Yeah. Okay. There was something. Yeah, better than the previous Grinch movie is a very, very low bar to clear. I wonder if the Rampage is going to contain a transformation sequence or if they're going to be giant monsters. It's probably just, well, okay, there's probably going to be a detransformation sequence because so George getting big, I would suspect, is going to play out more or less exactly like it's shown in the trailer, just in a longer form that like the vast majority of it happens off screen, and he just kind of slowly gets bigger. And same for Lizzie and Ralph. But then, unless they go just like to places that mainstream movies don't normally go, it's going to end with them getting returned to normal. So I would expect a detransformation scene as George goes back to being a normal-sized gorilla. Wait, sorry, what? What question you put up? Sorry. Don't like the rendering Incredibles 2. Wrinkle Time book. Oh, there we go. Sorry, chat moved a little too much while I was... what was the movie you mentioned on Twitter that involved Talking Dog and The Wedding? Oh, that's called... oh, My Best Friend from Beyond. Just a sec. I have the tab open. Where is it? So Brainpower Studio up here in Canada is actually responsible for that. Or is like distributing it up here in Canada. So I keep sending them messages every couple of weeks, being like, "My best friend from heaven." That's it. My best friend from heaven is the Talking Dog wedding planner movie, and I keep sending them like press inquiries, like, "Hey, when is this movie going to be available in Canada? Where can I see it? How can I attain a like press copy? Like, how can I get my hands on a screener?" Whatever, and they don't, they haven't been responding to me. And where's the other question in there that you said? That was not it. Oh, then I can't. Sorry, I'm scanning with my eyes, and I can't see them. No, just feel them now. Just feel them now. Because I scroll up, and I see... Where? Oh, there it is. There it is. I see it. Question 1. What do you look for in a video editor? Vegas Pro is $20 on Humble Bundle till the 26th, and I want to know if I should invest in that or the feature set in Blender is fine. 2. I have trouble putting faith in any ideas I have, and I'm curious if you have a way to deal with that, and mostly just want a second opinion on specific ones. Okay, so the second question there is just do it. Like... Or rather, I should say, find smaller ideas that are easier to finish and then finish something, because it doesn't matter whether or not you have, because if you have problems with rapidly losing faith in your own ideas, then the key to sort of like emotionally working through that is to find ideas that you can finish fast enough that you don't have time to lose faith in them. If that makes any sense at all. And that I think is kind of the starting point for working through those levels of self-doubt, is to find things that you can finish faster than you can start to doubt on. What do I look for in a video editor? That one's a little bit more, I don't know, I guess technical, and my needs are different than other people's needs. Like, there's a number of tools that I look for in a video editor that are not the kind of tools that a beginner or even intermediate is necessarily going to be looking for. Like, I need things, it's like, I'm looking for features like, oh, I can export an edit decision list as either comma separated values or as an XML, and that I can then take those into a round trip environment through a variety of other programs. And that's not a problem that the vast majority of people who are looking for a editing program are going to need to like worry about or care about. Vegas Pro for $20 is a pretty decent price. If you're really just kind of beginning, so there's a program out there called DaVinci Resolve. It is primarily a color correction software suite, but they have turned it into a full-featured editor, including so it has all of kind of the editing capability that you would expect, almost up to a like completely standalone pro level, and it has a very, very in-depth audio editor. They the company that makes it, Blackmagic Design, they recently acquired Fairlight Sound, and so they have integrated a smaller version of the Fairlight audio engine into the latest version of DaVinci Resolve. And so DaVinci Resolve Lite is available for free. So the studio version is like $1,000, but the Lite version is free. And now if you're wondering what features you're missing by not paying the $1,000, you're looking at features like the ability for multi-user project files. You're looking at stereoscopic color correction. You're looking at noise reduction. You're looking at warp stabilizer. You're looking at basically a bunch of features that if you are a professional editing house with like multiple people, like multiple editors who are working on projects simultaneously, those are features you need. If you're an individual, you don't need those at all. So that right there makes it a great value. Now the caveat on that it is a peculiar program. It has its own thought process that can be quite tricky for people to switch to, and has quite sort of a learning curve to initially get into. But that said, if you are not terribly familiar with video editing, like if you don't have kind of a rut that you are already in, well, you already have kind of a learning curve ahead of you anyway. You're going to need to learn Premiere or Final Cut or Vegas. So if you already have to go through a learning curve, it might as well be a learning curve into something more powerful. Now, if you're using Blender as video editing, then I would recommend almost anything else other than it, just because Blender is not a tool. That is definitely a hammer when you need a screwdriver in this case. So yeah, I would. If you need something that's going to be a little bit friendlier, then $20 for Vegas is a great deal. If you're willing to chew off something a little bit meatier, that will give you just a ton more growth room, then I would say Resolve. So, and yes, for everyone who's talking about Danny Trejo, yes, Machete is part of the Spy Kids universe. The titular Spy Kids, their uncle is Uncle Machete, who, yeah. We're gonna. I don't know if I even need to do that. Load completed. Load completed. Load completed. All right. I'm feeling good for our second go here, and actually, if we go like right now, we're gonna finish just after 10, and that will be a beautiful time to wrap up. So, all right, 3, 2, 1, start, and we can keep chatting during the minute and a half of loading that waits for us at the start of this. Thoughts on Alita? I haven't actually even watched the full trailer for Alita. I've watched a couple GIFs of parts of the trailer, and I've seen stills of the character design, and it is uncanny valley, and I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts beyond that, but yeah. So. It is intentionally uncanny, but I'm not sold on that actually being a smart choice. Mezzantine, could you install this game to an SSD to decrease load times? Is that a valid technique for shaving off time? We have thought about it, and we suspect that at the level... Okay, so you technically could, but now getting an SSD into a PS3 is a bit of a kind of process in and of itself. It would also be like $500 just to carve some loading time off of an awful game, and we suspect that it wouldn't even cut the loading time that much, that a lot of the loading time really isn't coming from hard drive access anymore, just with how poorly optimized this is. One of the more program savvy people in chat can probably explain it better than I can. All right. How many bonus Steves? No, just one regular Steve. One Steve.
Amy, it's me, Lana.
Oh. Oh. One bonus Steve. All right, so we're going to come to the door and we're going to sit here and we got to wait for Marcello. Marcello, he's a little injured, he's a little slow. So we're gonna just wait here, and we're gonna spam. We're gonna point our face at this door lock, and we're just gonna spam X until he gives us the thing. He's eventually going to catch up to us. Here we go. He's catching up to us, and he's gonna. It's a genetic lock, so he's gonna give us the thing called a DNA cracker. And there's the DNA cracker. So we're gonna take the DNA cracker, and we're gonna sync it with the lock. So now a number of pips have popped up on our mini map that are telling us where all of the local DNA is located, a mildly horrifying phrase, if ever there were one. Now, fortunately, despite the 5 pips that show up, the answer to the problem is the same every time, so we can just run up onto the train here. We know that this is the correct DNA, and away we go. And the train conductor is nowhere to be seen. He's probably stuck in one of the rooms. He's supposed to jump out and scare us in the hallway there, and you're supposed to fight him. And it's normally very comical because instead of fighting him, you just push past him. But that didn't happen this time, which I mean is ultimately for the best because it's faster if I don't need to deal with him at all. And so there's our first mastermind puzzle of the game. Now we should have... Do we have another Steve around the corner? No Steve around the corner. This is great. So that's our one of 2 mastermind puzzles that we'll need to do in the game. And that one went pretty well. You if you got quick eyes, you may have caught that we can actually enter inputs before the symbols have even loaded, which also includes the submit inputs. So if you spam X as you come up on the puzzle, you can spend all 5 of your attempts before anything even is visible. It's quite funny. This is not a well-made game. So we're going to put on this this harness here. The harness is going to give us some game state information. So we now have this green light on our back that's going to tell us what the infection rate of the area of the area that we're in. So if it's not actually our health state, it's just how much infection is there in the local area. So right now it's green. We're in a safe space. So green means there is no infection at all. You're not building up infection. Yellow means that it's going anywhere from very slowly to fast but not super fast, and red means it's going super fast or insta-kill. If those descriptions make it sound like it's not actually very useful at all, correct. So we're gonna shuffle across this pit here. All right, and now one of our more notorious Steves, one of our less friendly Steves, is not here to greet us, so that's good. We're getting very lucky. We have had, of the optional Steves, the random spawn Steves that can show up on this level, we have gotten none of them so far, which is a substantial luck improvement over our previous run where we got all of them. So I am happy. I am happy with that. our Steve NG, our RN Steve, has been in our favor.
Then I heard you calling out for the little girl. I said, no monster be calling out for the little girl.
Dear God, what's happened here? Amy, stick close to me.
So this area right here, we can go through it a good bit faster. I'm a little bit behind, but we don't want to actually go through it too fast, because if we go through it too fast, then Marcello's AI breaks and he just runs around in circles. So it's okay if he gets a little bit of a lead. It will ensure that he gets through. Though we have now run out of stamina, there is a hidden stamina statistic. I think I might have hit that too fast and just locked Marcello out. All right, come on, Amy, grab my hand. All right. That was a little unfortunate given how good we were doing on the Steves, but that wasn't too much time. Fortunately, that didn't glitch him out at all, like it totally probably could have. Though it does now make me curious about what the possibilities are. What if you lock Marcello out? I would suspect that you actually just fail, because you need Marcello to get to that door in order to trigger the door opening. So all in all, though, a very, very good chapter 1. Very good. We're going to get under the table right around a couple seconds after 11 minutes. And yeah. So Bob and Doug are the two in chapter 4. Unsettlingly ambiguous answer. Oh, is this a zombie game? In the broad context of zombie games, yes. I mean, they're clearly pseudo zombies. The game is from 2012, which is definitely late to the at long last in 2017 finally, thank God, waning zombie craze. So even for 2012, like it was feeling a little worn out. But it is definitely a product of the zombie craze. So it does contain pseudo zombies. Good night, Sayori Cake. Sleep well. So now we're on to chapter 2. So in the interim there, Marcello unfortunately did not survive his encounter with the soldiers, and in the second cutscene that we skip, Amy ran off for no particular reason. But we did manage to, I gotta say, we did manage to get to the thing here, whatever that's called, the locker. We did manage to get to the locker before the texture had actually finished spawning. So that's good. That's some good time. Now the ogre comes running out of that room there, and in a casual play, what you should do, what is recommended that you do, probably the solution to this problem that you're going to figure out is going to be to go and hide in the locker with Amy and then wait for the ogre to pass. But that takes time that we don't have, so we are instead going to just run past it, around it, and wait for it to get around the corner, so that we can break this window without angering him, and then we're going to deal with Jared Leto here. This is our first Jared Leto of the game. Jared Letos take 3 to 4 hits with our board, and unfortunately this Jared is feeling very dodgy, obnoxiously so. So there's a little bit of RNG in the fighting, in that you're dealing with kind of a random dodge attack pattern. It's very, very simplistic, very easy to master, more or less, because it's just kind of bad. And yeah, so I want to make sure I grab that on the way, and then we'll just come back, get Amy. There's a lot of positions in here where it can be difficult to get now Amy out of certain spaces or into certain spaces. Now this part we want to make sure we're holding her hand so that we don't lose her as we go across, because we absolutely need her to be with us when we get into this room. Hit there, and now we're going to reset at the checkpoint. So it turns out that the game takes forever to write to the save file, and it takes forever to load further terrain brushes, but it takes less time to reload from a checkpoint than it does to actually load it. So in this case, we have saved time by reloading at that checkpoint rather than just waiting for the game to load and open the door. And now we're going to do it again. One of the fun things about this game, and we'll be abusing this heavily on this level, is that the checkpoints all reset everything to the game state that it expects, regardless of whether or not you have actually done the requisite things to get there. So there's a whole mini puzzle that needs to be solved in order to get that soldier out of the room. So if you just push through to the checkpoint and reset, the game advances to the state that it should be at in order to get into the room the way that it would. So the soldier just advances to their next position. This will also impact your inventory. It will impact Amy's state, and so we're going to be using that to amusement and delight through the remainder of the run. This and chapter 5 are the levels where we're going to be abusing it most heavily. All right, so there's two Jared Letos that can spawn in this room. So far, we've gotten one of them. We'll see if the other one is here. And it looks like our zombie luck ran out just a little bit. We did very well on chapter 1, and now we got both of our optional Jared Letos on chapter 2. Still not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad in the scheme of things. And I don't know where Amy actually... Oh no! Oh no! I wasn't. I took too many hits, unfortunately. All right. Well, that's going to be an unfortunate substantial time loss. I don't actually, off the top of my head, know where that's going to send me to. Oh, that might send me very far back. Oh, how far back is that going to send me? Oh, okay. So that right there is for competitive against our time. That right there would actually be a stream ending or a run ending death. 'Cause that right there is a like 3 minute, 4 minute time loss on that specific death. I took too many hits. I took too many hits from the Lidos. The Jareds got a couple too many hits in, so when I was going back through the minefield, I died. So, so we're not gonna beat our time. We're not gonna beat our time. But on our second attempt, we got only one Jared this time. And he was far more, I spoke too soon, slightly more compliant with his attack pattern. All right. And because I wouldn't normally do it. This is one of the checkpoint reloads that actually only shaves about 3 seconds. But I need every second right now, so we're gonna take it. Oh no! Oh no! Come on! No! 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 Oh my heart! Oh no, Amy's standing in a bad spot. There's just... Okay, there we go. So, if Amy ever ends up standing in annoying spaces, you actually, you want to grab her hand in order to get her out of there. So that checkpoint skip, there's actually an entire room off to the left here in this mass off to the left that you're normally supposed to go into to get the orange card. But as we were saying earlier, the game advances the game state to wherever it thinks really? There we go. So there's two ways of doing that particular skip. So I like doing the checkpoint reload just because I like getting the orange key card and pushing the guard out of the way. It feels a lot more active. The other way is to not reload. Then you don't need to worry about Amy being in your way, but you will probably need to go up the elevator and walk across a narrow pathway. Because of the time that it takes to reload the level, they are fairly close, but in my timing, the reload is 5 to 20 seconds faster. So into chapter 3 here. I'm getting better at chapter 3, but chapter 3 is not my favorite. There's a lot of annoying little spots in chapter 3. It's got a lot of finicky stuff. Also, this is our first experience with Amy's magic powers, and right there, I just about actually almost made a huge mistake, but I caught it at the last second before I did, which was that Amy, when targeting her powers, if the reticle is X, then there is something obstructing her. So I'm glad I noticed that. Even though it didn't look like there was anything in her way, the origin point of where all of her powers are fired out of is set at kind of just a really weird spot. And so it's, if you're too close to like crates and stuff, what'll happen is your power will fire and then immediately collide with the crate and just do nothing. So that can be very frustrating. Oh no, I got the... Alright, so there's a uncommon bug, but obnoxious bug on that elevator. If you skip it too fast, it plays the cutscene anyway. So what ends up happening is Lana just teleports down to the ground, but then you need to sit through... Oh, come on. No, come on. She will teleport down to the ground, but the camera move, which loads shortly thereafter, will continue to play. So that's fun. Oh, there we go. That did work. I was worried for a second there. That's another spot where you can go you can actually go too fast. And if she'll inject the healing syringe, which will then use a healing syringe out of your inventory, but not actually register the effects of. All right, I'm probably going to get jammed up on Jared Leto's on my way back. I suspect it's going to happen because I didn't kill any of them. They weren't in a convenient spot. So that's a thing that I'm going to have to deal with, but that's a problem for future Dan. Present Dan. Yeah. See, look, there they are waiting. So that's going to be fun. And by fun, I mean not fun. It's going to be the opposite of fun. Whatever the opposite of fun is, that's what that's going to be. But none of them were in good places. So technically speaking, from an absolute standpoint, it is not actually slower to fight them up here. It's just riskier. There we go. I mean, especially if we're talking, the options are basically lure them out of the electrical fields into safe spaces, like places where it is safe to fight them, versus just fighting them all there on the stairs. Fighting them on the stairs is riskier. You can get locked into basically positions where you cannot then actually attack them. So it's not always the smartest, it's not the safest option, but it's the faster option versus if you need to, like, versus luring them out. It takes a while to lure them out. It's obnoxious. It's also not on its own, not without risk, just purely because of what was I saying? Just purely because of the sort of orientation of everything in the room, the minefields that you need to fight around. You can still end up in a bad place. So, in absolute terms, the risk trade-off is, it's riskier fighting them on the stairs, but it's not that much riskier. It's just, this is what I'm saying when I'm like, this is one of the more obnoxious parts of the game to get through. Now, so the reason why we actually did that whole thing where we went back down to disable the minefield and then to go back to the glyph is so that we would have those two charges that we needed in order to break those two boards. Otherwise, there's a puzzle on the other side of the room with the other elevator and a ladder, and you need to basically move a whole bunch of stuff around in order to get Amy up to a glyph that's at the top of that elevator so that she can recharge her shockwave power. Getting through doorways with her is a trial. And there was something. Oh. And. And I screwed up my inputs there, so now we'll need to kind of wait for this thing to come back. That wasn't actually a huge time loss. It was a second or two, but it didn't look quite as swag. If you time everything right, then you're dropping down onto the platforms, moving back and forth, and it looks really scary, and you actually run the risk of like falling off, and it's super nail biting, and maybe not actually the best idea, but it looks rad. So we've pre-gotten rid of most of the stuff that's in our way. So now we just need to deal with the most hazardous thing in the game, which is loading buffers and things that can rip Amy out of our grasp. No, I've got a bunch of I pulled a bunch of my practice stuff on that, and so if the Litos are in good position, like if they're sitting nice and proper, kind of right on the edge of the mines, then you can kill them super fast. It's like way faster. It's awesome. It's way faster. It's great. But I tend to have bad luck personally. I personally tend to have bad luck if I have to try to bait them out, because I end up bouncing off of things and dying. And you know what? I'm not even going to take a second crack at it. I'm not going to back up and line that up. Basically, if I don't get that skip on the first crack at it, I'm just gonna not do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. All right. Don't screw it up, Dan. Don't screw it up. Eat it, Steve. That part is a particular point of vengeance for me, for those who weren't here earlier, just because that. So on the last few runs from the last few weeks, I have screwed up that specific moment too many times. Oh, execute. There we go. That's better. The execute takes time. All right, 3, 2, good. And checkpoint. So chapter 4, we skipped so much stuff in chapter 4 that it's actually kind of difficult to even explain all of what we're skipping now. So you're supposed to go all the way around, down, get Amy, bring her back up, send her through the hazardous spot while you cross over another hazard, and then have her break a wall so that you can get in and get into this hallway. But with some experimentation, we figured that you could just exploit the way that the healing mechanics work, and power through the, like, basically as long as you don't step right into the insta kill brush, you're fine. Also, I think it was 45 when I went through, so I'm waiting for 40. All right, Denim Steve, eat crowbar. And Denim Steve, eat crowbar. So wait, 39. And crowbar. Yeah, I think for an actual thing, I would probably have a like a primed timer specifically for it with just a chime. So it's like, all right, you get there, you hit the button, you hit the timer, and then you just go, and you just go. So I kind of got the timing right. I didn't actually. I wasn't super confident in the fact that I had the timing right. Um, So, as Vexel says, Chapter 5 here is meant to be a culmination of basically all of the mechanics up to this point. It is also a forced stealth section. If any of these zombies see you, like if they spot you, then you instantly fail. But there is a mechanic that we were introduced to in the previous level, but we didn't engage with at all, where if you are at a certain infection level, basically the point where the sky turns pink, then zombies will not react to you as long as you don't walk too fast. So, this is meant to be, the test, the penultimate test of your skill at the puzzle solving challenges presented by Amy. Can you piece together where to use the silencing bubble that we have routed out of the run entirely? Can you master bending your shockwaves around corners in order to trigger car alarms and distract zombies? And our answer to that is, how about we don't do any of that? Like, let's just do none of it at all. And instead, let's just abandon Amy back at the beginning of the level and run right through to pick up this key card and then reset from our checkpoint. Oh, hi, Amy. I do find it. I find it a little comical. So the entire game really is this one long, obnoxious escort quest. Like, bringing Amy around through the game world is the game, and yet so much of the terrain is actively hostile to doing that. the doors are too narrow. There are so many things that she can get caught on. And now they do intend for you to go a lot slower than we're going. Like they're expecting that you're, just walking. But even at a walking speed, it is really easy to lose Amy going through doorways or just going down hallways. There's a lot of doorways that are literally too narrow for you to both get through properly while walking. Oh. We get a replacement crowbar because our previous crowbar was taken away. It's actually, hilariously, it breaks. So the zombie that was standing by the key card that we picked up in order to skip everything, when you hit that zombie with your crowbar breaks. So yeah. So, alright. Get to the checkpoint. So opening and closing that gate is actually really specific to what's going on in the run. And what we're doing there with opening and closing the gate is bugging out a bunch of zombies that spawn. We glitch their pathing so that they can't find their way to us, and thus we don't need to deal with them at all. The curious thing about the gate, though, is that we can't do that. Like, we can't open and close it, so we need to get Amy to open and close it for us. So, oh man. Oh. If I hadn't died there on chapter 2, we would have been done like 10 seconds ago. 20 seconds ago. I think even faster. I think this would have been a 46-minute and change run with how everything else has gone. I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit sad about that. I think I'll go back and actually time it. Proper time it. Exactly how much I lost by dying there. But I think it was about 3 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes, and the final level is about 3 minutes long. So we're on chapter 6 now. Or at least we will be when it finally loads. Oh, come on. So that right there, for people who were wondering, so we have sort of an odd moment that we call time on at the end of the game in this one, and it has to do with basically what just happened there, where Lana went to do the attack and then just stopped about halfway through doing it. So what you think is your final input might not actually be your final input, and so that's a reason for having sort of the odd final moment time in this game versus other ones. Also, sometimes that happens. It's like, just okay, all right, I'll take it. That seems totally fair with how this run went in general.
It's just like a game. We have to hide and then run. And we can't get caught.
So there we go. In this there you go. That right there is the two things that can go wrong. So she can just stop her attack animation, or you might just randomly die. Those are the two reasons why time is called when it is instead of when you push the button. Because when you push the button and when you finish, those ain't the same thing. This is such a well-made game.
Danny, quick! Push the button!
All right, now hopefully that won't happen again.
Push the button!
All right, we'll stick with our first time. We'll stick with our first time from this week. Oh, I mean 52, 53. That's not too bad. That's still better than our week 4 time. So, and it was only 5 minutes slower than our previous one. All in all, that's not too bad of a variance. So let's see. I mean, lost 2 minutes on the final level, lost 3 minutes on the either. Actually, probably 3, 4. I'll go through and I'll figure it out in exactly how bad that loss was on chapter 2. I'll figure that out later, but it was substantial. Oh, that stung. That one hurt me. So I need to figure out what's up with my my chapter 3. I hate chapter 3. It's the one that I can't seem to trim well enough. The ending is a cliffhanger. It's meant to be a sequel. Well, sort of. I I shouldn't say that there was meant to be a sequel. So this was originally intended to be a much, much longer game, but development went very poorly. It did not go well. Development did not go well. And so at a certain point in development, the developers decided to cut their losses and shove what was complete out the door in order to, like, as a budget title, with heavy sequel bait, so that in the event that anyone actually bought it, in the event that anyone actually bought it, they would maybe have the money to make the rest of the game. And they didn't. The company folded a short time later. So, that is an adorable cat. That is a pretty tabby. Meow. Meow. So yeah, Amy, I wouldn't recommend. I would not recommend playing it casually, but I would recommend maybe speedrunning it. It is available for $3 on PlayStation Network. Yeah. So that brings us to we're at about quarter after 10, a little after 10, 12 after 10, almost quarter after 10. I'm gonna wrap this, or wait. Oh, it's doing that thing again where all my clocks are telling me a different time. I'm going to trust this one that it is, in fact, quarter after 10. So I'm going to head to bed because I got to get up at 5 a.m. for Star Wars. Going to the 5:30 show. 5:30 tomorrow morning. So if you're wondering when I'm seeing Star Wars, I'm seeing Star Wars tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. So gonna try to get a little bit of sleep before that. So yeah. Thanks everybody for coming out and hanging out, and I hope that was a good, fun time, and y'all are still enjoying this. 6 weeks. Look, we've cut an hour off the game in 6 weeks. That is absurd. It's wild. It's crazy. All right. I'm gonna shut this down, and we're gonna go back to hosting. Actually, oh wait. Can I do that terrible idea? All right, just one sec. Let me try. No. All right. Oh, you can all hear that. You can all hear the noises. All right. / raid Sean and Jen. Okay. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. The channel is intended for mature audience. All right. Okay. Oh, it's warning you. It's warning you that Sean and Jen is for mature audiences. I've never done this before. I'm gonna see what happens. It's like, I think there's like a 30-second countdown or something. Oh yeah, don't do it if you don't want to. I just wanna, like, it won't shut down chat. In fact, it should stop my stream. And yeah, so the timer's counting down. It should stop me and start auto hosting is what should happen. So we're gonna find out. This is a brave new world, everybody. We will see you on the other side.